Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking something that you're going to want to listen to. This is Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning with Thomas Sims.
Good morning, Randy. Thanks for having me here
thanks
today.
For coming in.
Good morning, North County.
Yeah, for sure. You've been in the North County for your whole life.
Yeah, born and raised here, North County. I've thought about leaving, and I just can't leave it. You know, it's a beautiful place to work. The people here are incredible, and I just absolutely love it here. Yeah,
awesome.
Come from a big family.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, huge family, right?
I would say huge is an understatement.
Yeah. You know, all skilled tradesmen. So I grew up kind of in the trades. You know, I always laugh, say, you know, I could call my family and build a house from the ground up. You know, we got somebody skilled in every trade.
Right.
You know, from the ground up. So yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Very awesome. So heating and air conditioning. I mean, this is such a broad, spectrum of needs.
Yes.
Of homes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we live in the North County, which we know can get up to 110, 115.
Yeah.
And gets cold as well.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
You must stay busy year round.
We stay very busy. Yeah. You know, like you said, you know, it gets really, really cold here. It gets really hot. They're expecting this summer is going to be like 50% warmer, they're saying, than the previous summer.
Oh, really? That's already out?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. You know, but we do everything from, exhaust fan in your bathroom. You got some growth going in your bathroom, you know, we can do exhaust fans. Attic fans are huge. We do a lot of attic fans for people. You know, make a big difference here in the North County because we cool down so much in the evening that we can bring that cool air up into the attic space and, you know, get the house cooled down as well, you know. Heating, the air conditioning, we do mini splits, change outs, remodels, new construction. We do it all. You know?
Thomas, how did you get into this? Was this when you were in high school, were you like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this.
Yeah, I didn't want to, at that time in my life, I was working in a clothing store. I was a young man.
Which one?
It was like a factory to you or something. In
Tascadero at the outlet center?
Yes, right. It's a gym now, or it's been a couple different gyms. I was working there, and as a young man, it was great. I was working with females all day.
Right.
My grandfather called me up and he said, "Hey, you need to get a real job," you know. And I loved my grandfather, super, super close, and he was a pipe fitter, boiler maker his whole life, and he wanted to see me in the trades, you know. And he said, "I found this job for you. You need to go apply for it," you know. Local company out of Atascadero that was just starting out at the time. That was in 1997, right? So I went and applied. I got the job, and that was it. Here I am 28 years later doing HVAC, you know.
So you were on the job training then?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. On the job training, within a couple years, I was running crews for that company over in Fresno, Kalinga, Lemoore, doing track homes over there, right?
Really?
So I would get up every morning, load the truck up, drive all the way over to the valley. We'd rough and do a house a day and turn around and drive all the way home. I was doing that at 19 years old, you know?
So you probably learned from somebody that had, had been in a family, like something that you don't learn from like schools or, you're on the job. They taught you from.
Absolutely. He was a great mentor.
Who was that?
It was Keith with Hutch Heating and Air Conditioning.
Okay.
So I was, when Keith came on board or started his company, I was his first hire.
Really?
Yeah, so I was his first hire. Some of the guys there's a new owner now, and I actually, years ago trained him, who is now like I said, the new owner of Hutch, But he was a great mentor, taught me, great work ethic, how to deal with people. He expected me to work hard, and I stayed with him for about 10 years. So I was about 28 years old. I stayed with Hutch all the way until I was about 28. And then I got into the sheet metal workers union. So I got to.
Which is kind of in the same.
It's heating and air
field.
conditioning, but it's kind of called the Sheet Metal Workers Union.
Right.
You know? So I got into that, and then from there I got to travel all over. You know, I've worked at Vandenberg Air Force Base, Diablo Canyon, Las Vegas, casinos. Ended up in the Bay Area. The last prior to Templeton Heating, I was up in the Bay Area for about 8 years. Airports, schools, big projects, you know, running crews up there, and definitely got a lot of skills, you know, under my belt working up there and working for the union.
What are some of the things that like you see differently from like, you know, I'm born and raised here, and you know, sometimes it's a culture shock when you go outside of this area, you know, into bigger areas such as Vegas, like you've been. Is there like the differences between doing the HVAC stuff here versus in the bigger areas?
Well, Vegas, number one, the heat. You got to deal with the heat over there, which was just it was brutal to work over there.
Constant.
You know? Oh yeah, we would start early in the morning, and sometimes we'd start at 5 a.m. and we'd work till about 11 o'clock. And then we'd take a break, and then we'd come back in the evenings, and we're basically like split shifts. It was the only way to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then once the sun would set down, we'd go do another 3 or 4 hours in the evening, just because it was too hot to work in the day, you know. The equipment in the big cities, you know, around here we've got some commercial buildings, but it's very light commercial. We've got some industrial, but it's pretty light industrial. When you get up in the Bay Area, these airports and you know these high rises, that the equipment it's massive, you know. I've worked on heaters that are 15 feet wide and 100 feet long, you know, that are craned in sections and bolted together, and yeah, just a whole different aspect of the trade, you know.
And for something like that, Thomas, what is like, I mean, the urgency, like if a heater goes out or even an AC goes out in these 120 degree desert areas, I mean, what's the urgency and the turn time?
You know, over there they've got like, you know, there's restrictions over there, and basically, you know, a lot of these places over there, they have to have somebody within 12 hours, you know, report to that job and start working to get that unit back online, you know. You know, around here we got the cooler evenings, right? So if it's a hot day, we thankfully we can just open up our windows at night. It'll cool down, and hopefully we can get over there the next day within 24, 48 hours. Usually we're on site, sometimes same day, you know.
What do you think today's generation of the young kids graduating, you know, what do you think that their push would be to get them into an industry like, you know, the service industry like this, right, versus, you know, schooling? Okay, so you never went to college.
I did not. No.
So you just jumped right into the industry.
Yeah, and I, you know, looking back, I have no regrets. It's been great for me. It's been great for my family. It's been great for raising my children. You know, my oldest daughter just recently graduated from Cal Poly. You know, she's got some student debt, and she got out. She got a decent job, but not really comparable to the student debt she has. Right? She'll be paying on that for a little while. Mm-hmm. But the trades aren't going away. You know, and there's a lot of you know, a lot of jobs that are going to be going away with technology and the AI and all that kind of stuff. Right? The trades are never going to go away. Nobody can replace what we do. You know, and there's too many unforeseens. Right? You know, I come over to your house and you know, you've got some furniture into the way, right? There's no machine, no AI, nothing's going to come into your home and change out your HVAC system, right? And climb through your crawl space and not fall through the drywall and not break your plumbing pipe, or it will always be here, the trades, you know.
Job security. It's
job security, and you know, I think the average age right now, because there was such a huge push for school, right? Everybody go to school, get educated. The average age right now of a construction worker in the United States is 55 years old.
Wow, yeah, I believe that.
And you get out on these jobs and you see it, you know.
Because the young generation, they don't want to do this physical manual labor.
Absolutely not. They want to get on YouTube and make a video and try to make $1 million a year, and you know, some of them do it, but you can make a great living in the trades, you know. So if you're willing to work and you've got a good work ethic, that's number one. You know, put your cell phone down, come to work, leave it in the truck.
Right.
You know, and you can do really well in this trade. You know,
Well,
or any trade, electrician. You know, the pipe fitters, the plumbers union. You know, HVAC union, not even union, just the local trades around here, local companies. You can make a great living. You know.
Well, this didn't intend to be a job promotion for kids to watch, but I mean, really, the unions, you know, around here, and the kids, like my son is now, he's in his second year, I think, of the pipe fitters union. You know, it's a 5-year apprenticeship.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's dedication. You have to, I mean, there's no like missing work. They have a week school period of time every single, I think, quarter or something like that he has to attend. But it's this 5-year program that he's worked for a couple different, you know, companies, you know, but he's getting that skill set, you know, of plumbing, of different things that are part of this, like I said, the industry. And at the end of this 5 years, you know, he's going to be doing very well.
Yeah, it's a six-figure job, a great retirement, benefits for your family. It's wonderful. Yeah.
So Thomas, tell me how you transitioned into with Templeton Heating and Air with Dave Dawson.
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, I got into the union. I'd known Dave for years. You know, for those of you that don't know, Dave started Templeton Heating in 1995. And, you know, very active in the community. His kids went to school here, and just a good guy. And I'd known Dave for now, I guess, almost 30 years. So I was working for the union up north, and Dave called me up. He was ready to retire. And he said, I got a business opportunity for you. And so
But you were working for him on the weekends.
I was working for him on the weekends, helping him out for years. Yeah, for years. He would just get too busy, you know. And so I came down, and we came to an agreement, and I left the Bay Area. That was about 5 years ago now, and here I am today. You know.
So you took a leap of faith from solid union to
yes, yeah, you know, and Dave came to me. He goes, you know, I'm either going to shut this down, or you're the only person that I would really want to take over all my clientele, you know. And I still have all that clientele that I took over 5 years ago, and we've obviously built from there as well. And you know, we've got a crew of guys working now, looking to expand that this summer, especially with this heat coming. But yeah, between myself and the two lead guys I got, we have almost 100 years experience between the three of us. You know, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I plan on keeping. I do my best to take care of my employees and keep those guys around. You know, Brian's been with me now since I started about 5 years, and then Roberto's been with me for about 2 years, and then I've got Chaz. He's been with me for about a year now, and like I said, just looking to keep expanding and growing.
And Chaz is kind of like the way that you started.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Brought on.
Yes, he's
a green Philly.
Yeah, Templeton High School graduate, a good kid. I always supported him in his FFA, and you know, he'd always come to me for add-ons or you know, at the fair, and I'd always take care of him. And then we developed a pretty good friendship. And he called me and said, "Hey, I want to come to work for you." So I brought him on, and he's wonderful. Yeah.
What living, like I said, we talked about such the climate change and you know the big gap, you know, of. Like even like right now, I mean, we're going into 100 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then Sunday drops down to 72, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have this massive sway back and forth. How does that affect your industry?
You know, like right now, I'm enjoying it right now because it's getting people thinking. You know, they're trying out their heater or their air conditioner, they're checking it out, but nothing's an emergency right now, you know. So it's giving me some time to take care of these people slowly and break into that heat. Because once it gets over 100, it gets pretty crazy, you know. All the local companies up here in the North County, we just get overwhelmed. There's almost not enough of us, you know, to be honest. And you see all the companies out there, we're all just absolutely slammed in the summer. You know.
But what you have is you have a solid history, reputation in the North County.
Absolutely.
You know, Templeton Heating and Air.
Yeah.
Right? You have Dave Dawson, which, you know, started it. Everybody, you know, from the North County knows Dave.
Absolutely.
You know, Dave was very customer service oriented, you know, very community oriented, you know, involved with, you know, so many different aspects of the community.
Right.
And so you have that same type of, you know, foundation
Right.
and business sense.
Yes, and I stay involved in the community, you know, as much as I can, looking to do more. You know, I'm a booster of the school. You know, I'm hiring, you know, young kids that are graduating. I got another graduate that's graduating this year that's looking to come on board and come to work as an apprentice for us. And yeah, definitely staying active in the community and supporting what I can in the North County. You know.
What do you find like the units in? Because there's a lot of the homes that were built in the 70s and the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're coming, you know, 50 years, you know, these units. Is this kind of the expiration date for like your ACs? Just coming into summer, you know, AC units.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the heaters themselves, you know, they're really not, they're good for about 20 years tops if they're well maintained, maybe 25. You know, if you've got a heater that's over 20 years old, I urge you to definitely get it checked out, you know, for safety reasons. Air conditioning doesn't become unsafe necessarily. They're just inefficient, right? But the heaters can definitely become unsafe. So if you've got a heater over 20, 25 years, give us a call and we'll check it out for you, make sure it's safe, you know.
How did the smart technology and all that stuff, how did you accept that?
It's a lot of training, you know, a lot of training. You know, we just got to stay up to date on things. And there's a lot of changes happening in this industry, you know, with the efficiencies of equipment, the smart thermostats and you know, the different programs you can run, the apps on your phones to control these, you know, the furnaces, the air conditioners, your ventilation. Yeah, so it's just training, you know.
So you're doing a lot of new construction?
We don't do a whole lot of new construction. We do custom homes, you know. So I've got a few local builders around here that we do custom homes for. Most of our work is remodels, equipment change outs, just upgrading people, you know. And then obviously the service and repair side of things. Yeah.
So I look at like, you know, and this might have just been the signs of the times, but you know, a lot of the AC units were up on top of the house in those big steel frames and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do they, like, if those go out, do you reposition those or do you put them back up there?
It all depends, you know. Permit wise, sometimes we'll leave them up there, right? Because we've got to pull permits, especially if we're going to reload. Well, we got to pull permits anyway, but
no matter what.
Yeah, from most stuff you got to pull permits. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So package units, you know, sometimes it's easiest. The quickest way sometimes is just to swap out that package unit with the crane. We crane the old one off, we crane the new one in, you know. Some people don't like looking at them. I personally don't either. But you know, it's the more cost-effective way is just to change it out as it sits, right? But yeah, we can relocate them. We can put them in an attic space, put some lights in there, build a nice platform, and get everything off the roof if we need. You know, set an air conditioner outside. And, yeah, I work with local roofing companies too. So if people want to do that, I can you know, get the roofing involved and get the roof taken care of while we're at it. You know.
And when we talk about customer service, what is a couple of your policies with customer service, and how do you handle all these phone calls coming in?
You know, I personally take all the calls myself, as Dave did when he owned the business. You know, and I really don't want to, and my goal is to not get away from that. You know, I think people like calling and they talk to me. You know, it's not hey, here's the time I have available, here's when we'll be there. They call me, they talk about their life, they talk about their dog, they talk about how hot it is, you know. You know, sometimes we'll do some troubleshooting over the phone and we'll get them back running over the phone, you know, at no cost. You know, sometimes it's as simple as some batteries in the thermostat. You know, and people just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people. Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Oh, I would say every month I get a call and somebody says my thermostat screen is blank and it's not doing anything, and I say, have you put batteries in it? They say, I don't know, it had batteries. So I'll have them. They'll send me a picture of it, and I'll walk them how to pull it apart. We'll put batteries in it, and it'll fire up and work. You know. So some thermostats are battery powered, and some are powered off of the actual control board of the furnace, right? Or the air handler. But yeah, some are just battery powered, and if the batteries go out, you've got no heat, you've got no cooling, no display, right?
What is there? So is there like, because you mentioned maintenance, you know, earlier.
Yeah.
So what are some of the maintenance things that people are not doing that they should be doing just to kind of prolong the life of their units.
You know, we live in an area where, you know, there's a lot of agriculture going on, a lot of farming. It's dusty, especially when you get outside, you get into the country, right? And a lot of people think you can get away with changing out your filters, you know, maybe twice a year, right? Reality, if you do it every quarter, you know, you're going to be better off. The filters cost a cheaper filter, a decent filter costs $5. You'll get your $5 back if you change it out every quarter, I promise you.
Are you talking about the filters that are up and like you pull them down?
Typically they're in the ceiling. Sometimes they'll be in the sidewall of a home, you know, but yeah, those filters are very important, you know.
Would you say every?
I would say every quarter.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you pull them out, I mean, every home's different, right? Every home's different. But if you pull them out and they look a little bit dirty, change them more often. They're $5. And what happens is, you know, those filters get restrictions on them, and those motors they're trying to
suck. That's why it's all bent up when you pull it out.
Those motors they're working really hard to try to pull air through those, and those motors aren't cheap. You'll burn the motors out, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then also you've got, you know, when you've got that restriction in there, those systems are designed to move so much airflow over the cooling coil, so you end up with, you know, some iced up compressors, high pressures in your condensing unit outside the AC unit, and that's not good for the compressors of the life of the unit as well, you know.
What kind of money do you think, savings-wise, from the old units of the 80s to the new units, that being efficient?
Yeah. So the units, let's say all the way up to 2008. So 2008 systems, and previously were rated in a SEER, which is the energy efficiency rating of the equipment. Those systems, the new systems now after 2008 standard, California is 14 SEER. Those are about 42% more efficient than a system installed in 2008. Right? And you can go up from there, right? But the minimum I'm allowed to install in California at this time is about 42% more efficient than any system installed before 2008. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there still working on units? Is that still around, or is you just automatically replace?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we're here to, you know, we're here to keep them running for people as long as they can.
Even
you know?
the old units.
Yeah. But you know, parts for the most part are readily available. You know, if one of the systems we show up and it's got obviously a major leak in it, the time it takes to troubleshoot, you know, to try to find the leak at that point, we may recommend a new system. You know, but a lot of people don't have it in their budget to do a new system. You know, on 110 degree, your air conditioning goes out. It's not in the budget. You don't have the money to do it. And a lot of people, they would like it repaired. So we do our best to repair what we can. And if you're interested in a new system, we can talk there as well. You know?
So you kind of follow that same line where it's not like, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to sell you a new unit. You're going to give that person that's calling you for the help, you know, your honest, you know, repair.
Absolutely. You know, my guys, I take care of my employees. They don't work off commission, right? So they're not there to make.
So there's no point in pushing them to a new unit.
They're not there to make a sell, right?
Which some of these businesses and these, you know, national brands,
they've got car salesmen selling you an HVAC system,
right?
You know, and that's the truth. You know, they don't. There's no experience behind it. You know,
and being, you know, maybe some of the elderly, some of the, you know, older generation, they don't know.
Right.
They've, you know, and they have their retirement. They're just like, okay, so you say this unit shot when it can be repaired.
Yeah.
They're putting in a $10,000 new unit.
Right. Yeah. You know, like I said, most of them can be repaired. There's parts for air conditioners from 1980 that are available. You know, if you've got the time or if you've got the money, you know, upgrading is definitely going to save you some money and the peace of mind. You know. Definitely the peace of mind. You go into these cold winters or these hot summers. You know, any new system I install has a full 2-year warranty, backed by Templeton Heating, and most of the equipment that we install has a 10-year manufacturer's warranty on parts. So they cover the parts for 10 years. The heat exchangers are typically 20 years, and on some cases they're lifetime on the heat exchangers. So, you know, the warranty is pretty. It's nice to have the warranty. You know.
So Thomas, are you able to go into a house and in your mind know what's the best way to make this everything work together efficiently?
Yeah,
Into a new place?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. You know, when I pull up to a home, I can kind of envision what the system looks like.
They're under, you know, they don't have enough power. They're working too hard to fill this whole place.
Yeah.
Kind of like solar panels.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so then you can go in there and you suggest to say, hey, you need more or less.
Yeah, we'll do a full inspection of the system. A lot of times the duct systems around here, especially the older ones, you know, they're undersized. You know, the returns are severely undersized, and you know, if the unit can't pull the air in, it definitely can't push it, right? So a lot of times the returns are severely undersized, and then sometimes the supply duct as well, you know. And you know, duct's only, you know, the old flexible type duct, it's only made to last about 20 years or so. You know, a lot of the homes around here from the 70s and 80s have the rigid pipe, the metal pipe, with an insulation around it. The insulation is typically not really up to par to today's standards. And then all those lengths of pipe were back then were joined together with the original duct tape, right? And you can't see those joints, but what's duct tape do in the heat?
Right.
You've seen it. It just deteriorates.
Yeah.
So you've got massive air leaks that's just wasting energy. Theoretically, you're cooling or heating your attic space, you know. So getting a duct inspection is definitely important, especially on the older systems as well. You know, sometimes we don't just come in and change out the equipment, you know, the heater, the coil, the condenser, the air handler, the heat pump, but we'll come in and do a full duct system as well, you know, and get a nice airtight system in there. Clean, fresh air, right? Not 40-year-old dusty air coming into your home, you know.
Is there any new technology coming down the pipeline for HVAC? Or is it doesn't change much?
Well, they've got a new refrigerant that they're coming out with here, and as far as, let's see, I think it's yeah, it is December 31st of this year. They're allowed to sell the 410A refrigerant, which we've been using since 2008, 2009, and what equipment is manufactured, they're allowed to sell until December 31st of this year, and then they're switching over to the new refrigerant. We're expecting like a 20 to 25% cost increase in that new equipment.
Oh, wow.
There's some codes that are going along with it, different code requirements that we're going to have to bring homes up to code. It's actually a flammable refrigerant. It's a propane-based flammable refrigerant, so your AC unit now will have a flammable tag on the side of it, believe it or not. So we're not happy about it, but we just we have to follow what the EPA does, and that's what we're doing. So if it's in your budget right now, it's definitely a good time to get in on some of that 410A equipment, save that, you know, that additional cost, 25%, you know, going into next year. Definitely a good time.
And do you have friends outside of state that operate in other states? I'm curious of California's restrictions versus, like, say,
This is a United States wide thing. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
They've been using this refrigerant over in Europe and stuff for like 8 years. So it's not. I don't want to make it sound like it's super unsafe or anything, but it is a flammable refrigerant. You know, they've actually got a little shutdown device that kind of smells for that refrigerant in the cooling coil, and if it senses it, it shuts your heater off.
so why would they go to that versus what's in place now?
That's a good question. You know,
It seems unsafe.
That's our EPA. It's more environmentally friendly, right? It's a little more green, right?
green, but it's flammable.
Correct.
Makes sense.
You know, and like I said, it's not like gasoline. It's a propane base. It's not like propane, but it does have a higher flash point than most refrigerants, right? You can actually light it on fire. It won't do it with heat, but a flame will actually light that refrigerant on fire.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, now is a good time. And also, you know, it's kind of like the new car thing, right? There's not a whole lot of training out. There's not a whole lot of literature on this stuff yet. They're just going to throw it out.
It's going to break down after you get it.
Yeah, it's like the new car, right? I'm gonna let the new car be out for a couple years, let them get the kinks out of it, and then I'm gonna get the new car, right? So now's a great time. We've got the 410A figured out. It's a great refrigerant. Systems work good. It's very efficient, and yeah.
So then after December 1st, you can't even get those anymore.
The equipment, the refrigerant will be around forever, right?
Okay.
But they're not allowed to sell. They're allowed to sell what is currently manufactured and in
Parts
stock.
and stuff like that, you should
Always available.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll always be available. The refrigerant will be available, but they're not allowed to sell the equipment anymore after December 31st.
Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, that was a big change that just kind of, and it's kind of a mess, but we're getting through it. Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it
'Cause
out.
you got to.
Well, I don't have a choice, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas, how does somebody find you? Like, are you booked up right now? Are you still taking on new clients and customers?
Yeah, we're always taking on new clients and customers. You can reach me at 805-434-3741. That's the best way to get a hold of me. If you feel like it, you can stop by the office. You might catch me there, you might not. But that's at 86 Gibson, Unit 8 in Templeton.
Okay, right there going down towards Eversfield.
Correct. Yeah, right there on the left. We're at the very end unit. Can't miss it. Templeton Heating on the door there.
Right behind the old sheriff department.
Yeah. And then if you feel the need, you can, not the best way to get a hold of me, but you can reach me at templetonhvac@outlook.com.
Awesome.
Yeah. So either way, phone would be the best.
Phone call. It's old school.
Yeah.
You'll pick up, you'll talk to Thomas.
Sometimes I can't get to the phone. I try my best, but sometimes I can't. I return everybody's call the same day, always.
Awesome.
I've never let anybody, always gotten back to people. So leave a message, and I promise I'll get back to you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, Thomas.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man. That was
thanks
fun.
for having me. Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again. And
100%. Yeah, I definitely want to get Dave on.
Yes.
You know, the next time
Yeah.
that you come on, that would be cool to hear the story and the passing of the baton.
Right, yeah.
over to it. Because I
Yeah.
mean, he started it, and now you're continuing the legacy of
Yes.
Templeton Heating and Air.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You changed the eagle a little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
Changed
So
the eagle
you
up.
did make
Yeah.
it your own.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. I had to make a few changes, but yeah, we're still here. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, and keeping everybody cool this summer.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You betcha. Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, if you guys are needing a HVAC, heating and air person, give Thomas Sims a call. Templeton Heating and Air, 805-434-3741. Guys, the name alone is the reputation which he's built. Dave started it, and Thomas continues it. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, North County Junk Removal, The Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borehone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Premier Ag. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Are you tired of looking at that worn-out concrete garage floor, patio, or porch? Look no further than MGP Coatings, where customer service reigns supreme. Our team goes above and beyond to ensure your satisfaction every step of the way. Before we even start coating, we meticulously repair your concrete, ensuring a flawless finish that lasts. And here's the best part. Our Pentec coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy, so they won't chip or peel, making maintenance a breeze. Plus, they come with a limited lifetime warranty. Call us today at 805-952-5301 or check out our Facebook and Instagram and experience the MGP coating difference. Don't wait. Transform your garage, patio, porch, or driveway and become a part of the MGP coating family.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Hi, this is Omid
and Deanna
at North County Junk Removal. We are a business known for helping our neighbors and our community.
Let us help you save money and get rid of any unwanted items.
And rest assured that our professional team adheres to global standards of safety and recycling. We are fully licensed and insured for your peace of mind.
We are locally owned and operated, and we look forward to helping you with all your junk removal needs.
Please call us at 805-769-6966.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
3, 2,